Time to mount these fasteners on the back of this ACI rear bumper. Started off by making sure that all my holes were very nice on the Corvette. I found the center of every hole and I put a pencil mark on the car for the center of every hole. There should have been 18 holes. After that, I held the bumper up to the car and I transferred the pencil marks on the car into permanent marker marks on the bumper. As you guys know from the previous video, I'd already had the sync vice grip to the car and made sure it fit fairly well. Next step is to drill the holes. Actually, I marked all the holes first. I did notice that the bottom two, all of them were center except for the bottom two. So the bottom two holes were in a little bit. The rest of the holes were fairly center. So I took some tape, I wrapped it around my drill bit so that I couldn't go too deep and scar or drill through the other side of this bumper. That'd be devastating at this point. Then I took 36 grit on the belt sander and went through and did a 1 or 2 square inch area around every fastener hole for good bite, for that glue that we're going to use to bite these fasteners. After that, 18 fasteners, front and back, 36 grit on the belt grinder, as best prepped as you could. Everything is about prepping them. When it comes to gluing things on cars, everything is about how you prep it. How clean is the surface? How do you prep it? After all these fasteners are done, I take my scaler and I go through and I make sure I get every little fastener, where every fastener hole is going to be, every fastener is going to be. I take that scaler and I make sure that we get that thing good. You want to make sure this thing is prepped properly. If you guys got to hit it by 40 grit by hand, that might work really well too. After that, I took some prep ball, we blow it out. Oh, no. Sand the edge. In case you got to have a little bit of mud on this edge, I sanded the edge with some 80 grit on the DA. There's the scaler. Here's the 80 grit on the DA. Make sure that thing's sanded really nice. Go on over it 2 or 3 times. Blow it out. Take some prep all. Wipe it down real good. You got to make sure that prep all has time to dry. You do not want to start gluing and that thing not have time to dry. This stuff is from CarWorks. John over at AO, the paint rep over at AO, recommended this to me and said that people have had very good luck with it. I started off by screwing up and using way too much my first batch. It was way too hot out. I should have known better. It was like 92 degrees out. By the time I even got it in this little Ziploc bag to use it as like a cake batter squirter, it done harden up. Look at there it is on the floor by the fan, thrown off to the side, hard as a brick. So I started over and I started using littler amounts. I only did, as you can see, enough to do 3 or 4 at a time. And that stuff was still hardening up. And the biggest thing is to make sure that you get all your nuts started by hand and get them tight before obviously the glue dried. And the main reason is because you didn't want the glue that was on the threads. If you had tightened the nut before the glue dried, then you'd be fine. And that was it. In tomorrow's video, to finish this video, we're gonna come back. I'm gonna actually see by hand how well this glue stuck. We got one shot to do this, and I don't want to be doing it twice. So if we have to do it twice, now's the chance to do it. So we're not doing it when there's paint on this bumper. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.